Hi there, beautiful soul. I'm just so blessed to have you here in this space. And if you and I meet for the first time, that's definitely no coincidence. You are here for a reason. And maybe that reason is, are you a starseed? So let's dive in deep, because this video is all about exploring being a starseed and what that means. So I was having a conversation with a friend, and this is what triggered this video in a sense. And I was thinking, because I kind of took for granted that many people understood and knew what starseeds were and are, but maybe there's some people who it's new to and who are still awakening to themselves. And maybe there's a concept that just needs like a little bit more introduction and more exploration. And so that's where it came to this, where I just thought, yes, this is the way to go. And I was guided to make this video. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about my own journey, as well, my own struggles of being a starseed. And so I'm going to share that about myself and how it is to anchor and to integrate those parts of yourself. It's an ongoing journey of self-discovery, and so that's what I feel has been happening for me. And also we're going to speak about the different types of starseeds as well, and maybe you resonate with that. So let's dive in, shall we? Okay, so those of you who have felt like an alien in your own family, or even on Earth, or if you remember parts of life before you were incarnated into this lifetime, or maybe it is just an anchor, or an ache, or an homesickness that you feel that you cannot seem to overcome, that drives your very being, yet you cannot understand what that even means or where that comes from. Okay, so I have felt those very things: the loneliness, the confusion, the longing for a home in the stars. And at the time, I didn't know that I was a starseed. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey first. Okay, so this may be a little bit emotional, okay, because I've never really kind of expressed all of this on camera before, so bear with me, okay. So when I was when I can remember, like even when I was a baby, so my memory is even like, I even remember parts of being a baby. People say that you don't remember these things, but I do remember a lot of my childhood, even the details. So I found it very difficult as a child to be in my body, and what that meant was that I had a lot of, well, at the time I didn't know they were out of body experiences, but actually they to me were very normal. So I probably had them on a like on a daily basis, but I didn't know what being in the body was actually like. So for example, my body would be up there, but then I would also be here. So it's hard to explain. So I remember like being able to see myself from up there as well onto my body, but I was confused as to who I was. Was this me, or was that me over there, you know? I remember speaking to my granddad about this when I was like, I can't have been really older than maybe 4 or 5 maybe, and I remember him washing dishes at the sink, and I could see him from up there, and I was down here. And so I said to him, Granddad, who am I? Am I the one up there, or am I the one down here? You know, and he was like really confused because he couldn't understand what I was talking about. And so this kind of continued, you know. So I had a lot of those kind of experiences. I could see other beings like the Fae and the angels, and other beings across realms. So I spent a lot of time in the garden. That was my little sanctuary, and I kind of feel like I was really more connected with the trees than I was with people, I would say. I used to have tree friends as a child. I would see the fairies and the fae, and they were like playing with me and being with me and comforting me, and you know, it was just yeah, and it was just easy to kind of travel between the worlds for me. It was just like I didn't know any different really. So it was like I could see dimensions. So it was like an overlay. So I would have an overlay of like what I would see, and then like almost like the veils were really thin, and I could like go into like almost like a liquid place. Like I could step from one place to another and be able to see things. Once I had this kind of really terrifying thing where I actually saw a tarantula climbing over the wall, you know, like, and but I actually saw it, and then when I looked again, it wasn't there, but it was like a bleed through, and that was just an example. Most of the things that I saw were very beautiful, and so that was the only terrifying thing that I saw. That's what stuck to me, I suppose. And I couldn't really understand human relationships, so I really did feel as a child like I just didn't get it, you know, like I was just almost like put onto this planet and I had no idea how to behave. What does it mean to be a human? Like I couldn't even be in my body, because as well as the out-of-body experiences, I also had chronic asthma. So I literally I found breathing difficult on the planet. That's what I felt, and I really could not understand like how it was to be in a physical body, but also like how to act as a human being, and what does it mean, and like everything around me just felt like alien. Like why am I here, you know, why are people behaving the way they are, you know? I just didn't understand. I didn't understand any of it. And I wanted to know why, trying to make sense of the world, and I would ask really complex questions as well. You know, age 5 or 6 years old, you know, I would ask my teacher about like if I was going to mosque at the time, okay, so I would ask about like why is that the way it is, and you know, and I wasn't satisfied with the answers that people gave me, but I was told to shut up, you know, because they couldn't answer my questions, and it was like complex questions at such a young age, you know. And I had very difficult experiences with family attachments. I was the only brown girl in the whole school when I was in my primary school, so I experienced a lot of otherness from children and adults, teachers. You could say racism as such, but obviously I didn't understand it as that. When I was little, I just thought that I was different, and I would be asked, you know, have I got mud on my skin, and you know, why don't I wash it off, and things like that, you know. And then also to top it off, you know, when I was actually in primary school and when I was in nursery, I didn't actually know how to speak English. And because I was brought up by my grandparents, and my grandmother was, she spoke very little English, or in the house she didn't speak any English. So I basically went to school and I didn't have any language skills in English. So that obviously made me even more other. And so I was put in a class full of people that they felt were having learning difficulties, which is very much the same thing, isn't it, you know? And yeah, so that's how it was, okay. So this feeling of otherness was something I carried into my teens and beyond, but slowly I became more and more disconnected to myself, because I chose to fit in, to mold myself into a world where I was the minority in every way, okay. So it was in my 20s that everything changed, really. Well, it kind of changed. It changed with with the birth of my beautiful boy, and basically I felt like all throughout there, and basically the death of my grandmother who'd brought me up, I perceived her as my mother, and I went into a deep night of the soul when she passed, and I was sleepwalking through life. The only person that kept me from leaving my body was, in this lifetime, was my son. I knew that I had to be there for him, to be far enough, to be even before to be fair, even before my grandmother had passed. I had thought about leaving many times in my teens. I even tried to end my life, yet when I became a mother and I looked into my baby boy's eyes, it was love at first sight. I knew that I would walk to the ends of the earth for him, and my grandmother's death was a catalyst to the question, who am I? Why am I here? And it was at that time I declared I believed in no religion, and I declared to God that indeed, if he was real, and then show himself to me. But at the same time, it was such a scary time, because I went through many feelings of guilt and shame and fear and rejection of people that I love, and I felt like they would reject me, yet my curiosity and drive was stronger. And I knew that what I needed, no matter what, I needed to know for myself. Where was I and who was I? And what I was doing was basically pretending to be someone I wasn't. And the problem was that I had no idea who I was, because I had been pretending for so long in order to gain approval, to fit in, that I had molded myself into someone that other people approved of and felt they could relate to, yet all of it was a lie. I had become disconnected from myself, that I got so disconnected from myself that I didn't even know anymore what I liked, what I wanted, what were my dreams. I had created such a distance between myself and that little girl who looked at the stars with such wonder. I no longer knew where she was. It took a complete dismantling, a breakdown, where there was even, it wasn't even a conscious choice anymore. I went to India, was led to India, where I went to stay in an ashram, which is like a retreat, for a month. I had no idea where I was going at the time. I was led by a guru, as they called, but I called him Baba. Okay, so Baba, that met me on an astral realm. So we didn't have a relationship where we met each other in the physical world. It was always on the astral realm. So even when I went to the ashram, there was lots of people that gathered in the hall to kind of physically see Baba, but I felt like there was only me and him. And even though we never spoke and he was far distant from me in the hall, we met on the astral plane, and in the astral plane he healed my inner child. He taught me how to love. What I felt the most was the immense love, the love of 1,000 mothers. That's what I felt. And there was such love that it kind of melted the barriers of my heart that I had built up along the way. When I returned home, I experienced an extreme integration. So it was like, people say that it was like, it's never a blissful experience when you're going through transformation. It's messy, it's many different things, and so that's what I went through. But I was guided through it all by Baba, even when I came back, and my beautiful husband who supported me. It was almost like learning to walk again, to be in the world again, to be myself. Like I at this time I started to learn about myself. What did I like? I applied for a postgraduate diploma in psychotherapy, transactional analysis, and during that course I received therapy, because we had to have therapy as well for ourselves, and also group therapy as well, which and also the course was experiential, so we had ongoing therapy as we went along, and it was amazing. it was like learning to be a human, about human emotions and trauma, and to heal and find togetherness. And alongside the therapy, I also started to have Reiki as well. So I also became like a Reiki master as well. But I also had Reiki myself, and the Reiki and the therapy. So the therapy was about my mind and processing emotions and all of those things, and the Reiki was all about somatic, the body, the chakras, the whole kind of around the body, the energetic healing. Okay, and they just kind of went together really well. And so that it was like I realized that I had this thirst for knowledge, but it was like a re-remembering. It was like things that I already knew about in some level, the occult, the spiritual, archaeological. I wanted to know about quantum physics. I wanted to know everything, basically. Astronomy, astrology, esoterica. I researched so much, alternative ways of thinking. I started to discover that I wasn't the only one with these experiences. And slowly I met with my little girl, who had come into this incarnation with many memories. The more I connected with her, the more I received, and became an expansive journey of self-discovery that continues to this day. So if you resonate with my story, I want you to know that you're not alone. There are many of us who have all gone through lots of challenging times, early experiences in whatever way that is each unique to us. So I just wanted to give my love for you for that. Sharing that was a bit hard for me, I've never spoken about it to that extent, but thank you for listening. So starseeds are rarely chosen. They rarely choose easy, harmonious situations, families and environments to be born into. Although this is changing with our younger generation. So most starseeds intentionally incarnate into dense, fractured or traditional lineages to act as frequency anchors or spiritual disruptors. The friction of the environment is often the exact pressure needed to force a soul to wake up. There are 3 common starseed birth dynamics. Okay, the systemic outsider. So it's the black sheep. Okay, born into highly conventional, rigid, or materialistic families. They experience constant misunderstanding, emotional isolation, and feeling like an alien in their own home. The second is a lineage breaker, trauma transmuter, born into families with heavy cycles of generational trauma, abuse, or addiction. These starseeds take an intense emotional weight to process, heal, and completely break the ancestral cycle for future generations. And then the orphan archetype, the disconnected soul, experiencing early physical abandonment, adoption, or loss of parental figures, forced to find their own sense of home within the cosmos and themselves, rather than relying on earthly bloodlines. So as I mentioned before, not all starseeds fit into these 3 categories, but there will be some aspects that run through early childhood. Okay, so this is all cosmic training for starseeds. These are not punishments, but training in soul resilience. The mastery, surviving dense earthly challenges provides the exact emotional intelligences and empathy to help others awaken. And that's what we're here for. When I realized that I was a starseed, I had to look back at the friction in my early life. Many of us don't land in perfect spiritual awakened families. Most starseeds choose highly challenging situations. The 3 hidden reasons for starseeds' childhood challenges. So the energetic disruptor and ancestral alchemist. You don't just enter a family. Your high frequency acts as a cosmic lightning rod. Your presence naturally shakes stagnant environments, shakes them up, and also centuries of accumulated ancestral baggage. I couldn't read my own writing then. Simply by surviving dense households, you are actively cleaning and transmuting heavy genetic lineages. So, and then the second one is a humility catalyst, a human compassion training. So starseeds arrive on Earth highly advanced, carrying immense gifts, latent multidimensional abilities, and deep wisdom. Being born into lack, misunderstanding, and trauma forces the soul to develop a deep empathy and true understanding of the human condition. This friction keeps starseeds humble. It ensures that their gifts activate later in life. When their gifts activate later in life, they use them to elevate human consciousness from a place of pure shared compassion rather than spiritual superiority. Can't say that word. Superiority. You know what I mean. Spiritual superiority. That's as good as it's going to get, I think. So grid resilience and physical integration. So Earth's planetary ascension requires anchoring immense high frequency cosmic light directly into the physical Earth grids. Navigating intense human adversity builds emotional and spiritual resilience, expanding the capacity of the nervous system. The journey of the starseed is to embrace the human body and this incarnation. By fully embracing, honoring, and loving this human life and body, we become effective conductors. Our journey leads to embodiment rather than escape. So what I feel is, and I've really felt this a lot recently, is that there is no escape. You know, the more that we almost like love and cherish our body and also our human life, the more we become connected to our star lineages. It's a bit of a dichotomy in some ways, you know, because in a way, when I first started to learn about it, I wanted to escape even more. But then when I started to embody myself and actually be here and be more present, is when I actually started to open up even more to my star lineages. So, Lightworkers. So the difference between starseeds and lightworkers. So lightworkers, these are souls that originate primarily from Earth, the sphere, or the angelic realms, and they help to bring light into the beautiful Mother Gaia's Earth grids. Okay, but starseeds are cosmic travelers who have spent the vast majority of their lifetimes exploring different star systems. Galaxies or higher dimensions. While most starseeds act as lightworkers serving Earth's ascension, their soul heritage is distinctly extraterrestrial. When exploring how a soul navigates the universe, you can break it down into 3 unique structures. So you have the soul system, the root soul system. Many starseeds carry a distinct name, home base, a root soul frequency, a specific star system where their consciousness first expanded, or where they spent their most defining developmental eras. So, for example, that might be Pleiades or Arcturus or Sirius or Lyra, or many different ones. Okay, so you might feel that your root place is there, and you feel very much a Lyran or a Palladian or an Arcturian. Okay. Multi-system connections. It's highly common to have a strong energetic tie to multiple systems such as Lyra, Pleiades, Andromeda, Arcturus. This is due to a vast history of cosmic exploration. So some of us don't have one specific connection, Maybe you feel pulled to many different lineages, and then you may feel confused that, oh well, how can I be from all these different lineages? But you can be all many different lineages. You're made up of so many different lifetimes and beings in different lifetimes. So that can happen as well, where you feel like you are from many different, and you can identify with many different places, and it doesn't have to contradict. You can be everything. And the parallel lifetimes. So you may experience, because the time is not linear, as it is outside Earth density, a starseed may simultaneously experience parallel lifetimes in completely different star systems, experiencing multiple galactic realities at once. So you may be that you feel that you have a lifetime that's parallel to this lifetime, where you're connecting to yourself in the Pleiades or Sirius or somewhere else, another timeline. So yeah, on the same timeline. And so that can happen too. Okay, so anything is possible. Finding your heritage and discovering your galactic origin acts as a powerful catalyst for self-realization. Placing together your specific star heritage brings immediate context to your quirks, unexplainable fears, physical sensitivities, and deep-seated passions. Unlocking these memories works like a cosmic puzzle coming together, validating your earthly mission and anchoring your energetic template into the physical plane. So there's also other types of starseeds, okay? These are the Angelic Architects. So many starseeds can also trace their roots from the foundations of the Angelic Architect lineage. These are the original cosmic template designers who helped project the geometric laws and blueprints of the universe into existence. Their root carries a pure, non-physical frequency, okay, that oversees the grand design. The point is that you don't have to do it yourself. You don't have to put yourself into a box. You're just one star system or being. You can hold many different systems within you, okay, and hold deep, active connections to many worlds. And this, like angelic architecture, you can do that too, and have connection to many worlds. It's not about collecting labels, but it's about finding the keys that unlock your original soul and purpose. So by being able to explore all those parts of yourself, you will find different aspects of yourself in those places, and to be able to gather that knowledge about you and your origin. There's also the elemental starseeds. There are starseeds that are connected through the lineage with the Fae, the dragon, the Mer-Beings, the elemental beings, and the nature beings. The Fae and the elemental beings are highly evolved cosmic lineages that travel to Earth to guard the planet's living templates. So, whilst galactic starseeds come to work through the human collective, the elemental starseeds come to anchor high frequencies directly into the fauna, flora, water crystals and crystalline structures, and the mycelial networks. Many water elementals like undines, Mer-Beings, and advanced Katechian consciousness, such as the dolphins, whales, and other sea beings. I probably pronounced that wrong, okay, but you know what I mean. Hold deep roots in the water worlds of Sirius B and Mintaka, in the Orion belts, the cosmic oceans of the stars and Andromedan galaxy on the star Merak. The Fae elementals originate from the star Danube in the Cygnus constellation. Other Fae beings are from the Pleiades and Vega. These are very high vibrational, playful and deeply creative nature spirits that often carry distinct energies into the forest and ecosystems. Okay, I'm just going to have a little drink. we're going through a bit of a heat wave here in England, and so it's very warm. So if you can hear the fan going, that's what it is in the background, because it's very warm here. And we don't have air conditioning because it, you know, doesn't happen as often. It's becoming more often with climate change. So, signs that you are an elemental starseed. You feel far more safe and understand and feel more safe and understood and at home amongst the trees and the crystals and animals than you do around human society. You feel fiercely protective and almost primal urge to protect Mother Gaia, her oceans and wildlife from harm. You retain a childlike wonder, a deep connection to magic, working with nature spirits, and have a natural ability to manifest through joy, co-creation and intention rather than hard earthly hustle. So lastly, I wanted to explore our Lemurian and Atlantean heritage, okay? So it's a bit of a misconception that people either feel that they have had many lifetimes on Earth, okay, or that this is their first lifetime on Earth. And mostly starseeds have lived many lifetimes at pivotal times of the on Earth. So it may be that although you have incarnated on Earth before, you will still have been a starseed, okay? So if you feel like, oh, well, I've had many past lives on Earth, so maybe I'm not a starseed, that's a misconception, in the sense that it may be that you have come to Earth at pivotal points as a starseed then, okay, as well. So starseeds incarnated to work with the crystalline energy, telepathy and deep nature intelligences. So that was when people came from, so Lemuria was a high vibrational heart-centered paradise, okay, where starseeds incarnated to work with crystalline energy, telepathy and deep nature intelligences. And Atlantis was a civilization focused in advanced galactic technologies, sacred geometry and cosmic orders. In many of the pivotal ancient civilizations, starseeds incarnated to anchor stellar wisdom into the Earth Mother's early grids. Our Mother Gaia is currently transitioning back into 5D frequencies that existed during the peak of Lemuria and Atlantis. This is why we are remembering our role at this pivotal time. So, I wonder if you can identify with any of those, whether that's the root system of a specific star, whether it's a cosmic being, or whether it's the Angelic Architects, or whether it's the elemental starseeds, any of those, or maybe you might have some more that I've not covered here. So I'd really love to hear about that too. But before I leave you today, I want to share one final beautiful truth. So, if you have suffered, if your childhood was a battlefield, and if you worked tirelessly to transmute your ancestral lineage, please know it was not in vain. We are the transition team. We came here to stabilize Mother Gaia's grids and clear the dense static out of the human collective. And because we have stood strong in our frequencies, the new generation of starseeds and cosmic children being born right now will not have to struggle in the same way we did. We have cleared the path, we have built the foundation. They're arriving in a stabilized grid, ready to step straight into their sovereign gifts. How beautiful is that? And you can see it in some ways with some of the children that nowadays, I come across some of the children with my work, my other work too, and and even children that can't speak or are non-verbal. And I met a beautiful boy the other day. I met him, I've known him for a while, and he's non-verbal, and he identifies himself as a lion, and I always think, oh, he's such a lion being, it's us that, are not being able to connect with him in the sense that he's probably telepathic and has many, but I mean, he's very transmuting energies and all sorts of things that we don't even know about, you know, in rooms and places, just by being there. And that's what these children are like, you know. So thank you for anchoring the this energy. You are a vital thread of the living web. I just want you to know how precious and how honored I am to meet you all, in a sense that I feel, and I know that this is coming from my heart. So I know it's a message from source, in the sense that you are all vital, every single one of you. Your energy is so unique that nobody can be you, nobody can imitate you. You are a harmonic note played in the orchestra of the cosmos. Without you, that specific note would not be able to be played. And that's what I want you to know, that you are cherished, you are loved, you are so needed, just as you are. You don't need to perform, don't need to do anything, just by your energy. But the more that you know about yourself, and to trust with your heart who you are, that energy intensifies, it becomes even more focused with intention and love. So if this video resonated with you, if you feel that you can feel in your heart, then please like and subscribe, share, and maybe we can bring more starseeds into the fold. And I'm going to be exploring many different starseed heritages as well, and different things coming up in my videos. So you'll be able to keep up by subscribing with that too. And we're going to explore many magical worlds together. And if there is anything specific that you would like me to share and explore, then I am so looking forward to your comments. So please comment, and because I always love having conversations with you all as well. So from my heart to yours, it's been so beautiful exploring the starseeds, and I hope that whatever you feel inside you, you know that you are loved and you are so precious. And thank you for all that you do by just being you. From my heart to yours. Until next time.